Emmanuel sends $5 says the WEF is getting their their group spit on. Well, it does seem like a lot of people are waking up to that, and Elon has called attention to it because Elon has made fun of WEF, and he called into one of those meetings and talked about how globalism is kind of a failure. It doesn't work. Everybody's kind of, Javier Milei, he gave it to him at Davos. There's elements of what Milei says that's good, but come on. I mean, this guy is not that based. I mean, wasn't he giving awards to Zelensky? I mean, look, unfortunately, the Latin American, South American, all that domain is really complex because people fall into the dialectic of thinking, well, you're either one of the socialists or you side with the neoliberal corporate vultures, right? And so both of these are bad guys, and that's really difficult to convey because people just sort of immediately fall into good guy, bad guy camps when it comes to Latin South America stuff, which if you listen to the chats that Tristan and I have done, we just did a long, in-depth analysis of Oliver Stone's Wall Street. Tristan brought up some of this, right? How people think, Javier Milei is good because it's good that, I agree it's good that he's anti-Fed, right? He's against Federal Reserve. He's against fiat currency. That's good. However, he also seems to then default to siding with the neoliberal vultures who are behind a lot of the problems in those countries as well. So Tristan, I know you're not here, but if you can hop on for a little bit and just kind of comment on that, I would appreciate it, because a lot of people don't understand the Latin South American political sphere, and they just kind of lump it into the good guy libertarian versus evil socialist dialectic. And you have really good insights on this, given Ecuador.
Yeah, hey Jay.
Hey.
What's up, dude? I just want to say that you're super mean, and I disavow you completely.
I'm sorry for wearing your sports bra.
I generally disavow everything you are, do, like, associate with, stand for, or have ever stood for, because you're mean.
I accept your public struggle session. I accept my public penance.
So the Malays are really interesting litmus test for how stupid a lot of the libertarian and slightly right of center people in the internet are. Uh-huh. I'm sure James Lindsay is doing backflips praising how great this guy is, how amazing Javier Milei is. But the libertarians, a lot of these people, remember the libertarian movement in 2008 with Ron Paul, like when a lot of us were kind of involved in that type of stuff.
Yeah.
This was all about end the Fed. It was about actual audit the Fed.
Right.
And the Fed and the private banking cartel of the Federal Reserve, because the whole thing, remember, the Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express.
Right.
Which is true. Right. Now, what's amazing is how much of that vision of and basic understanding of what the real problem with transnational banking is, all that's been lost in the kind of so-called libertarian movement today. And I don't think libertarianism was ever a good idea, a useful movement for anything but throwing open the floodgates, opening the gates of Toledo, so to say, for socialism and communism to come in. But what these people that are praising Milei are saying is this guy wants to end the Argentinian central bank. This is one of their main points of why he's so based and why he's so good. Mm-hmm. Now, the Argentinian central bank is actually run by the state. Like, it's actually owned by Argentina. It's not a private bank like the Federal Reserve. Now, what he wants to do, and he seems like he's kind of backed down off of this. I'm not sure if he'll actually go through with it. But his campaign rhetoric included shutting down their central bank, which is actually run by the state, unlike the Federal Reserve, which is a private banking cartel. And what he wants to do is dollarize them, put them on the dollar, and literally put them under the control of the Fed. That's Javier Milei's program. Total neoliberalism, complete vassal state, Argentina becoming, like it has been cyclically for a long time, a complete vassal state of the U.S. Remember, Argentina was kind of a test bed for the GMO movement. They kind of bulwarked the GMO corn and the GMO soy down there. Argentina has I mean, it's been wrecked by just consistent political upheaval from both the Latin American left and right for a long time. But yeah, this idea that Javier Milei is some sort of a trad right wing guy, and he's our dude, he's our guy, he's so based, he's just I mean, this guy is a total idiot. He's a total shill. And just because he gives some lip service at the WEF about how I don't like communism, well, your whole program is just neoliberalism for Latin America. It's total privatization of resources so that they can be plundered by transnational corporations and transnational corporate cartels, and you can be under the thumb of the Federal Reserve private banking cartel. That's what Javier Milei is bringing. So it's ridiculous that people.
So you're saying that he's basically saying you need to be under the U.S. Fed, right?
U.S. Fed. So he wants to get rid of their central bank, which is actually owned by Argentina, and they've had tons of problems. They've tried dollarization before, and it completely wrecked their economy. It completely destroyed Argentina. And it was if anybody wants to learn about kind of what it's like to live in a collapsed society, read about what happened in Argentina. And I think it was
so. What you're saying is you're a communist socialist, and you want socialism. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what the libertarians kind of retort always is. Well, if you're not a libertarian, you must be a commie. So get out of my face, commie, with that nonsense. So it's really Milei shows just how stupid people on the right are now. They're cheering on a guy because he says he wants to get rid of the central bank of Argentina. These people are acting like having a central bank is the problem. The problem is not a bank existing, right? I mean, there's a state-run bank is not inherently bad. I mean, Gaddafi had one, but it's what he did with it that they didn't like, right? What he wants to do is get rid of their bank and literally put them on the dollar under the Federal Reserve. It's insane.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people just don't understand this dialectic at play in places like, Latin, South America. I mean, you could look at America too. Like, okay, so is America a free market or is it socialist? Well, the world that we're going into is really, in my view, going to be a synthesis of the worst aspects of both things. So you're going to get like a corporate Fortune 100, Fortune 500 model of a centralized thing that tells all the countries what to do. And we saw this in the last few years with WEF when these unelected international bodies are telling and advising America what to do. Here's your policies on how to handle WEF. And you'll notice that why it just happens to be everywhere in the whole world. Suddenly everyone wears the masks. And suddenly every Fortune 100, Fortune 500 company is pushing the Skittles rainbow. It's like everywhere all of a sudden. Yeah, that's because it's a coordinated agenda. And it's a mix of elements of socialism, elements of neoliberal, free market economics. It's the worst put into a big superstructure. So it's not either of these systems, and people kind of have a hard time looking past the dialectic of socialism or free market libertarianism. It's like you got to be one or the other. That's all there is.